Here I've got a Sony CDX M750 radio, and it has the black face, blank face that some people call it. The first thing to do is take off the top cover, which is held on by tension around the exterior, and then you'll want to take off the CD mechanism, which is held on by some pins between it and the circuit board, and then there's 2 screws on the right side and 2 screws on the left side to take off. That's so that there's some adjustment for you to take off the front faceplate, which is held on by 1 screw on each side. So here I'm just popping up the CD cover or the CD mechanism. Those are the pins that it's held with, and I replaced this ribbon cable already, but the CD player isn't turning on, and I think I might have put it on backwards, so I'll just be taking that off from the faceplate and the main board and reversing it around. And having the ribbon cables is or having them replaced is pretty common with multiple brands of radios that are motorized like this. So when you're removing the ribbon cable, you just want to use a small screwdriver and pry upwards a little, or towards the back. Just slide it back and it removes tension on the ribbon cable, and it just slides out really quick. And I'll be taking off the 2 screws from the left side. It helps to have a magnetic tip screwdriver also, so that the screws don't fall in to a hard place to reach. Or you can make your screwdrivers magnetic by rubbing them on a really strong magnet, like on a subwoofer or something, and it leaves some play so that you're able to slide the faceplate up and out. So now that the faceplate's out, I can remove it and I don't have to worry about the ribbon cable snagging. And it's held together by a few screws, but I have a couple missing. And what I like to do is, after removing the screws, just use my fingernail or something soft like plastic to pry apart the 2 pieces. And from here you'll have a few screws to remove. So there's 1 on the right side and 3 on the left side. 1, 2, 3. And I'll just get those removed. Once you have it apart, the ribbon cable is visible, and you'll want to use the same technique as earlier. Just pry up a little on each side and the ribbon cable will come loose. So here I'm just showing how to do it once with your fingernails and once with a screwdriver, and it likes to go back and forth if you only put pressure on one side, so it helps to be able to put pressure on both sides at the same time. And when you're putting it back on, make sure to align the black bracket. It should kind of hold itself into place. That's where all the screws mount to, so it needs to be lined up. And then just find the pocket that the ribbon cable should pass through and screw all the pieces back together, the circuit board and that front faceplate. If there's any buttons that come out, make sure you put them in now, because it is a little annoying to have to take everything apart to put back a missing button. So make sure everything's together, make sure nothing fell out, and then snap both pieces back together and replace all the screws that you can to hold everything securely in place. So once you have everything together, sometimes these arms will be in the wrong position, so you can actually roll that gear backwards until it holds itself with some tension. And it's best to try to align both sides a little bit together. So you'll pass the ribbon cable through and align both sides as best as possible, and then kind of push down so that those arms slide up into their respective grooves. And then you can go ahead and tighten all 4 screws that are by the gear sets, and then the 1 screw on each side of the faceplate. Last thing is to bend the ribbon cable around, feed it into its connector, try to hold it as straight and as far in as possible while you tuck in each side. And like you can see, if you only do one side at a time, it will kind of teeter-totter back and forth. So it's just easiest to use both of your fingernails and just push down on each side. But unfortunately, after testing, it did not work, and you can see some solder, some bad solder, or not bad soldering jobs, but you can see where some globs of solder are that are probably not from the factory, and I'm just pointing those out. There's some flux residue there that remains, so someone tried to fix the radio before, but unfortunately it wasn't successful.